הזרימיים אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. אל ייתן למות רגלך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צלך, עליית ימינך. יומם השמש לא יכך, וירח בלילה. אדוני שמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור את צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד העולם.
Kol omer kra v'amar ma'ikra, kol habasar chatzir, v'chol chasto ketzitz hasadeh, yavesh chatzir novel tzitz ki ruach Adonai nashva bo. A voice says, cry out, but I ask, what shall I cry? All flesh is like grass. All of its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, and the flower fades, when a wind from God blows upon it. Surely, therefore, people are like grass. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of God endures forever. LeDavid mizmor ladonai haaretz umloa, tevel v'yoshveva, ki hu al yamim yesada, v'al nehoret yichoneneha. Mi ya'aleh bahar Adonai, umi yakum bimkom kadsho, Neki chapayim uvar levav, asher lo nasa lashav nafshi, velo nishba lamirma. The earth is the Lord's, with all of its fullness. The world is the Lord's, with all of its inhabitants. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in the holy place? She who has clean hands and a pure heart. She will receive a blessing from the Lord and a just reward from the God of deliverance. There was always a twinkle in her eyes, and there was always such warmth on her face, and there was always such love and such care in her demeanor and in her interactions with people. Lilia was a wonderful person. Lilia was a passionate person. She was a person who reached out over and over and over again on behalf of other people. There was a great energy, there was a great life, there was a great spirit within her. But she never just let it stay within her. She wanted to share it with other people. She shared that energy with her father and her mother. She shared her energy with her sister and her brother, and we offer our condolences, of course. She was very close to her family growing up, and of course, as she got a little older, she shared that love of life with you, Joseph. You knew her from your youngest years, from elementary school, from first grade onward. I know in your senior year of high school, you asked her to a dance, and after your first dance, you asked her to marry you. From dancing to marrying, you skipped over the dating part. She made sure you went back to it. But yes, you did end up marrying her, and she became everything to you. She became the center of your world. Your sons say often that no one could have loved a woman more than you loved your wife. Lilia was the centerpiece of the entire family. She was the glue. Eric and Leo, you grew up knowing with certainty how very loved you were by your mother. She was very affectionate. She was so proud of you. She took special pleasure in your accomplishments and seeing you grow up and marry and making her into a grandmother. And you learned so much from her. She was a talented woman. She could play piano. At one point, she played piano 3 hours a day. She earned a master's degree in music in Russia. But she gave up her life there to come to America and to benefit from the freedoms and to have her family benefit from the freedoms. To her, everything was about family. I know when you were planning to leave to come to this country, Joseph, she was worried about you and your family, making sure you would stay connected to your family. But you all came, and she taught here. She worked at several different jobs, and of course she found a special niche for herself as a realtor. And as in everything else, she worked zealously on behalf of others, on behalf of her clients. Every situation with a client became a personal involvement that she had for people. It was the pattern of her life. It was the pattern of her character. She always had time for other people. I think she simply worked with a different calendar than everyone else. Other people have 24 hours a day. She had more. She just always had a few more hours. Other people have 7 days a week. Lilia operated 8 days a week. I mean, just one more extra day to her week. She'd come home after a full day of work and magically create a delicious dinner for everyone. She always had time. Apple blintzes, right? And Napoleon cake, Napoleon tort. As a mom, I know she went to your sports activities, not because she was so much a sports enthusiast, but you were her family, and she loved and supported you. Her identity as a Jew was very important to her. Her affiliation with Park Synagogue was very important to her. You know, of all the mitzvahs, of all the values in the Torah, it's the value of hospitality, which is one of the most important we read. Hospitality, starting with Abraham. Your mother, your wife, your daughter, your sister, she opened her arms and opened her heart to all these many immigrants over the years, Russian Jews who were moving to America. She arranged a welcome dinner. She brought supplies. She introduced them to other people. She cared about their transition to a new country. She followed up with them. She opened her heart to them. And once Lilia opened her heart to anyone, she was never going to close it. And you all helped. I know you as boys would help out. And Joseph, you would help. You all shared the mitzvah with her. She raised all of you to know how to do that mitzvah of hospitality. She also raised the two of you to be confident and thoughtful and discerning people. She taught you to be good people. Joseph, you married the most popular girl in school, right? She never stopped being popular. But not for frivolous reasons, not for simple reasons. She was popular because of the values that she lived by. She was popular because she demonstrated a love and care and concern for other people. She was popular for all the good reasons. I will say that this is a devastating loss to the community. This is a devastating loss. This is a shocking loss. And this is a loss that stays with us after today. You know, when someone in her community would suffer a loss, Lily would be the first to open her arms and to try to provide comfort for them. I think what she did most of all throughout her life was she created community. You know, synagogues always talk about community, and presidential candidates talk about community. How do you create community? But she created community. It's a certain atmosphere of love and support and culture, giving people a feeling that they belong. And she gave that to other people. She made her life dedicated to creating community and a sense of belonging to all those who she came into contact with. And I know that even now, you're going to allow the medical world, the medical community, to study her and study about the illness, to hopefully provide a mitzvah for those in the future. She lived with a good name, and she died with a good name. And I know that now Eric and Leo, you have words to share.
Thank you for being here. In the final goodbye and paying respects to such an amazing human being. I had no doubt that there would be so many people here today. She touched so many in her life and was always giving, giving, and more giving. The tragic diagnosis of my mom's disease brought us unspeakable sorrow over the past few months. My mom was the matriarch of our family, and we just can't believe she is gone. We are sincerely touched by the outpouring of support and sadness, which is the reflection of the character and integrity that defined her. We appreciate all the thoughts and prayers for our cherished mother, wife, sister, daughter, and friend to so many. Jimmy Valvano famously said, "If you laugh, if you think, and you cry, that's a full day." My mom's life was full of those days, even up to a few weeks ago. Her speech and physical abilities were gone, but I definitely feel she had days and even weeks of thinking, crying, and laughing after that. I still cannot believe this. She would tell me recently, she goes, that me and your father, we would discuss that we had at some point this much life left. And then it became this much life left. And now there's only this much life left. I would argue with her that her best years were ahead of her. Retirement, 5 more bar bat mitzvahs, 6 graduations from high school, 6 graduations from college, and 6 amazing weddings. She worked so hard her whole life to get to this point where she built a successful career and an amazing family. She was just about to be able to fully enjoy the fruits of her labor. Tragically, she got robbed of her best years ahead by this ugly disease. And I'm not sure I will ever get over that my mother will not give the most important and best speeches or toasts of her life at each of those events. This disease moves extremely fast, but I had a few months now to gather myself, be strong for my family, and mostly reflect on her as a person, who my mother was, and her contribution and legacy to society, us all. We will never forget what an amazing person she was. Please share with your kids and your grandkids your favorite memories of her and how she impacted you and your family. Regretfully, at the time, I felt her many calls per day were a little annoying. But what I would do for one more of those calls today, I have sat at many funerals before and wish it would have sunk in earlier. I took life and my mother's life for granted, literally the day after those funerals. As I search for meaning or purpose of my mother's tragic passing, I am thinking that one big thing that I should take from this is the lesson to not take life, not even a single day or moment, for granted. My hope is that none of us will continue to take one more day or one more person or one more moment gifted to us for granted. Please live in the moment and love every person and moment you get, and literally live life as if it was your last day, because a few months ago, for my poor, undeserving mother, that actually happened. I do want to celebrate my amazing mom and her amazing life. Rabbi Scoff and Leo is about to will do a beautiful job recapping her life and sharing great memories of our mother. I just wanted to share a few of my favorite memories. I gave a toast at my parents' 30th anniversary that they will leave behind a legacy and will be remembered for many, many more generations. They will forever be remembered as the ones that took the biggest risks and left communism during the height of the Cold War and immigrated to America. On top of that, did everything they could and beyond to get as many of their family members and friends here as well. Her work ethic, tenacity, and appreciation for every person in her life are traits instilled in us by our mom. The example she set and the high standards and big dreams she had for us motivate Leo and I every day. We appreciate it, we cherish it, and only hope to live up to her amazing legacy that she has created and leave a little mark of our own. In real estate, a number of her clients have shared with me some of the details of her work and how they were ready to sign, but my mom would not allow them to until she felt she got them the very best deal possible. She went above and beyond, and others would have moved on to the next deal. She only had their best interests in mind. I cannot express how proud I always was when my little mom would sit down to play piano in front of her friends, and then Mozart and Beethoven would come out. And my smile was always ear to ear. Her toasts were always from the heart, always long, and always on point. The great Maya Angelou wrote that ultimately people forget what you said and people forget what you did, but that no one will ever forget how you made them feel. For my mother was unique to this. I really believe that everyone in this room will remember something she said to them, something she did for them, and especially will remember how she made you feel. Leo and I will argue she was the best mom, so overprotective and proud, but the best mom. She made time for us anytime, would literally drop anything and make time for our call, visit, or help with kids at moment's notice. She gave us the most amazing life we could ever ask for, and she was also our best friend as well. A story you may or may not know is that my mother actually almost passed away giving birth to me. She was in labor for 24 hours. Not sure if everyone in this room knows, but my head was actually this size when I was born. I finally grew into it. Thank you, Mom. Our parents' marriage is an inspiration to Leo and I. We also were fortunate to find our wives and start families early in life. Once again, we work so hard in our daily lives to live up to the super high bar my parents have set in their love and respect towards each other. I remember when I showed my mom the ultrasound picture of Amelia just a few years ago. She literally shook from head to toe and kept saying, no, can't be. Ja się budu plakać. I'm going to cry. How she loved Amelia and all of her grandkids. In fact, the picture here is symbolic in that it was taken from Amelia's baby shower, and definitely one of the happiest moments of her life. I can go on and on. My mother will never leave me. I will think about her all the time. Her impact on my life will never diminish, and I will draw strength from her forever. My mom has touched all of us, and everyone here has their own personal ways she has impacted them forever. I believe she will continue to define her purpose in each of our lives as we continue to live on. Life is short and incredibly fragile. My hope is that we can continue to honor my mom's life by appreciating her friends and family in moments we all still have. I know God has embraced Mom the way she has always embraced all of us with a great big warm hug. And I have no doubts that when I see her again, she will have a full table with borscht and stuffed cabbage, and blintzes and Napoleon, and a piano nearby for dessert. Goodbye, Mom, for now. And you too, me and everyone that was fortunate enough to know you. You will always be full of life, gorgeous, and an inspiration, exactly how you were in this picture.
In second grade, I had to write to a family member who I loved and what I loved about them. So I wrote a letter to Baba Lila. I wrote of how much I loved her and what I loved about her. I wrote how I loved everything she did for me. She loved it so much, she put it on her fridge and didn't take it down for anything. I'll always remember how she used to come up to me, hug me, kiss me like crazy, and say that I'm her favorite. Then once I would walk away, she would go up to Mason and do the same. I would get a little upset and go back and hug her and kiss her like crazy. Then she would say that I'm her favorite. Then Mason would do the same, and it would go on for a long period of time. One thing I'll never forget is how she and Dita Joseph took Avi, Gabi, Brianna, Mason, and I to Hershey, Pennsylvania. We were all under 10 and crazy, and she was taking us to eat chocolate and get even more crazy. It was one of my favorite and most memorable times spent with Baba Lila and Dita Joseph. If you knew her, she loves to cook food and have people eat all of it. When she would have people over for Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur breakfast, there would be 15 people there eating food enough for 50. She would do these things with her hands. What that meant was it started with 2, my dad, then Leo, then 4, my mom, then Allah, then 10, me, Mason, Brianna, Gabi, Avi, then Amelia. Baba Lila, rest in peace. You always be 29 and continue to live in all of us.
This past May, tragedy hit our family. My mom said she thought that she may have had a stroke, but still, she continued to work hard, be there for her friends and family, and continued to put her own needs last. She finally went and got herself checked out, only after all of her work was done, as her very last task before she left on vacation. Her trip to the ER told her she was fine, as nothing showed up on the initial tests. She came back from her trip with her health already declining, speech impaired, and little did we know how fast everything was going to go. Within a week, she lost her ability to speak English. A week or 2 later, her Russian. Just how sad that her ability to communicate and express herself, something she valued so much, would be taken first. Being the communicator she was, she still figured out a way to express herself, relying on body language, pointing, and most importantly, blowing kisses to me over FaceTime. You see, for the past 10 years of us living in New Orleans, my mom and I spoke almost every day. On the ride to work or on my way home, I would call my mom, catch up on each other's day, discuss the current topics, and stay involved in each other's lives. We did what best friends do. and she was my best friend. She visited often, taking every chance she could to see us and spend time with her grandkids that she loved so much. But day to day, for me, she mostly lived in my phone. When she lost her ability to speak, I lost a big part of my daily routine. I lost the comfort I felt hearing her voice. I lost the confidence I gained by her unwavering support. But I still felt her love, the love only a mother can give. At the time, it was just a daily check-in phone call. But over the past few months, and especially today, I realized how special and important those calls were to me. From the day we found out the tragic news that my mom was diagnosed with CJD, a non-treatable, non-curable, rapidly fatal neurodegenerative disease, I felt a big responsibility to deliver a worthy, meaningful, beautiful eulogy. One that would be fitting for my mom, who loved to give beautiful and meaningful toasts or speeches at our many family functions and dinners. These heartfelt toasts and speeches meant a lot to her. Many of you in this room have been a recipient of her kind and loving words. So today, I hope to do my mom proud and deliver a eulogy worthy of her, her speeches, her life, and her love. Where do I even begin to tell the story of my mom and her life? To me, I could probably say it in just one word, but then it wouldn't be fitting for my mom as she liked to give long speeches. But if I did, the one word I would say is love. She loved everyone. She truly did. She loved her family, her husband Joseph, her kids, her grandkids, her sister Mila, her mother Bella, Misha, and many, many cousins. Her friends, Zina and Yasha, Natasha, and too many more to list. Her co-workers, who all became her close friends too. Norma, Sharon, Epi, and the many others who spent so many years and made a hard, demanding job fun and enjoyable for her. Her clients, who all became her close friends too, and even people she would just meet, they too became her close friends. She truly loved all of you. She would love to entertain at home, hosting many dinners, always greeting you with a big smile, a big hug, a big kiss, and a big plate of borscht, and her delicious stuffed cabbage, and 6 more courses, and of course her amazing apple blintzes and famous Napoleon. And during the dinner, she would toast her guests with heartfelt, loving words that made you feel welcomed, comforted, warmth, and love. Now, where did she get the energy to work as hard as she did, love as much as she did, and entertain as happily as she did? Who knows? But we do know that a person can love so much only when they are loved that much as well. And my mom's love for all of us was only matched by my dad's love for her. As kids, our mom taught us the Russian song, Papa Может. Dad can do anything. And the words couldn't be more true. Our dad can and did everything for our mom. These past few months, he truly became a superhero to us. Now, typically as a kid, you think your dad is a superhero, and then you get older and you start seeing him as a mortal, typical guy. Not our dad. He's not typical. And for Eric and I, watching him take care of our mom, he reclaimed his superhero status. He's an amazing man, by every sense of the word, a mensch. From the first grade, he had a schoolboy crush that never ended but grew and grew. He truly loved her more and more every day. She was everything to him: his love, his best friend, his supporter, and his partner in life. And oh, what a life they gave each other. They have experienced, done, and seen so much in their amazing lives together: marriage, kids, immigration, raising a family, successful careers, traveled the world, became grandparents, saw a man land on the moon, the fall of the Soviet Union, the birth of the internet, cell phones, and yes, even a championship in Cleveland. From high school sweethearts to being married so young and quickly having 2 kids, then immigration, all by 26 years old. Can you imagine today's millennials doing all of that? Their life was a never-ending adventure, and family was always first. My parents both worked so hard to support and provide for our family. Eric and I were always their priorities, giving us everything kids could ask for. Skiing every Sunday with the Rexons, followed by Browns games, Disney vacations, but most importantly, a never-ending amount of confidence, support, understanding, and love. We truly had the best childhoods. One of my most vivid memories as a child was one day she told me and Eric to get in the car, that we were going shopping. Eric and I were excited. As immigrant children, we had everything we needed, but shopping trips were special, and this one was really special. She didn't say no to anything. Toys, clothes, those awesome Michael Jackson leather jackets with the zippers. Black for me, red for Eric. It was amazing. We got home, all excited, and then she pulled out the biggest packing box I've ever seen. She proceeded to take our entire bounty, maybe leaving behind a toy or two, and boxing it all up. Eric and I were distraught. "Mom, what are you doing?" She replied, "We're shipping this all to your cousins in Russia." She went on to explain that we were the lucky ones to be in America, and that we get to live this every day, so sending them these items would only be fair. Eric and I learned that day what our mom and dad were all about: family, giving to others, and doing the right thing ahead of any personal wants or desires. That day was just a precursor for what was about to come. "If you build it, they will come," is the famous movie quote. But in our case, it was, "If you tear down that wall, they will come." And come they did. Our grandparents, aunts, uncles, first cousins, second cousins, third cousins, cousins of cousins. It was a non-stop revolving door of so much family, all welcomed, helped, set up, and of course, fed. My mom and dad did their best to welcome and help as much of their family that they loved come to the country they loved and experience the freedom and opportunity that they loved. It wasn't always easy, but throughout, there was always an understanding that family matters most, and no matter what, you stick together as a family. My mom was my dad's first and only true love. But sorry, Dad, Mom did have another true love as well as you. It was music. She loved music, classical, ballet, opera, jazz. She loved going to listen to the Cleveland Orchestra, catching a Broadway play. But most of all, she loved to play her piano at home and fill her home with the sounds of her piano and the love in her heart. Any of you who had the treat to listen to her play know what I'm talking about. She didn't just play. She performed. She poured her emotions and feelings into her play, wanting to play for her guests with the same intensity and emotions as if she were on stage. She gave it her all every time she played, never satisfied with her performance, but still happy to share her passion and art with the people that she loved. Regretfully, she put aside her music so that she could help provide for her other true loves, her husband and 2 sons. She worked hard and did everything she could to earn enough money to ensure her family lived the life she dreamt for us. Started off doing manicures, building a loyal and loving client base, and then moving into real estate, once again building a loyal and loving client base. She worked hard, passionately, always only having her clients' best interests at heart. She would come home after a long, stressful days, tired, exhausted, drained, and with a box of Amy Joy donuts for me and Eric. We would drink a glass of milk, eat a donut or 2 or 3, don't judge. And we would tell each other about our days. These were beautiful moments that even today, 30 years later, I remember vividly and lovingly. She continued to work hard and passionately all the way to her last month of work this past April. She had one of her best months ever, while still taking care of all of her loved ones. Her daily routine involved being a loving daughter, taking care of her elderly mom, Bella, and Misha, to taking care of her sixth grandchild, baby Amelia. She made time for her friends in their greatest time of need. She always had time and simply never said no. To her, it was never a chore, but a gift. She always felt so lucky to have her mom with her, and so happy her mom has Misha. Losing her father, Lyova, and brother, Arkady, at such a young age, and she being so young at the time, she learned quickly what a gift each day with your loved ones is. And she never took a day for granted, and she never took a day off. If she wasn't working on real estate, she was working on her family that she loved so much. She was the center of our family, the foundation we all built our lives on. As I mentioned earlier, my mom had a very close and loving relationship with her mother, Bella, and Misha, who she would only call Mishinka, as she loved him like a father. She took them with her on vacations to Aruba, convincing her mom, "Mom, I have no problem pushing you around in your wheelchair." She did everything she could for her mom, who did everything she could for her daughter. She taught my mom music, cooking, how to live, how to overcome grief and loss of her brother Arkady and father Lyova. Everything that was great about my mom, she learned from my unbelievable grandmother. Her relationship with her sister was also so special to her. Mila has always been a second mom to us and a second mother-in-law to my dad. Mila and my mom were each other's best friends, each other's number one cheerleaders, and in these past few months, Mila was the best caregiver anyone could ever hope for, being there from morning to night every day. Mila and my mom shared everything together, always there for each other through life's ups and downs, vacations, to Europe together, celebrations, graduations, and as I mentioned, children. My mom treated Arthur as one of her own and did her best to match Mila's second mom status. The void left by my mom's passing will never be filled, but Arthur, Eric, and I, and our kids, are also blessed to have Mila to be here for us. We all love our second mom so much. Eric and I have been very fortunate to marry such amazing women. My mom loved our wives and wanted only to see our families grow, be together, happy, healthy, and in love. She always called Inga and Alla her daughters, and she went from having 2 kids to 4. She loved our wives very much, and these past few months have showed how much love and caring Inga and Alla had for our mom. They were unbelievable in their attention, care, support, and applying their skills and knowledge as nurses and love as daughters. It was truly beautiful and heartwarming, and Eric and I will forever be grateful to the unbelievable women we are so blessed to have married. The blessings our wives have given us are infinite, but without question the biggest blessings are the beautiful, amazing children. Their grandmother lived for them. As Benji mentioned, our mom would show that she went from 2 kids to 4 to 10. Benji was her first grandchild, filling her heart with so much joy and love, and I remember her telling me that she never believed that she would love anyone as much as Benji. Even she didn't understand that that much love was possible. And then Mason, and the joy and love doubled. And then Brianna, her first princess, always wanting a baby girl to treat like a doll. She finally had the sweet gift she was always dreaming for. The gifts kept coming with Gabi and Avi, 2 fun, loving kids that she loved to watch, play with, and spoil. After all, they were her toys. And last but certainly not least, baby Amelia came. Another princess, another gift, another candy, another love of her life. She cherished her role as grandmother, loving them from here to the moon. Kisses, 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. It was non-stop smothering attention and love for the 6 most prized possessions. Today we all say goodbye to my and Alla's and Eric and Inga's mom, my dad's love of his life and wife, Mila's sister and best friend, Bella's daughter, aunt to Arthur, Anya, Marina, Eugene, and Alex, grandmother of Benji, Mason, Amelia, Brianna, Gabi, and Avi. a loving friend to everyone in this room, a loving friend to everyone she ever met. She loves us in body, but not in spirit, as her inspiration to live life to the fullest by finding happiness in what you have and loving all who surround you will continue to live on through us. We will all miss her deeply, but hopefully we can find comfort in knowing how much we loved her and how much she loved us. I will celebrate her life, her love, her friendship, and continue to remember who she was, someone who was full of beauty, full of life, full of love, and who spoke with such meaning and heart. Well, Mom, how did I do? I hope I did you proud today, Mom. I know I did. I know you were always very proud of us. We will always remember and love you, Mom. Now rest. Rest in peace.
Please rise.
Eile malei rachamim, shochaina bamramim, hametzei menachane chana, tachat kanafei ashchina, b'mahalot kadoshim adgarim, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת ציליה בת לבה ובלה שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן את החיים מנוחתה. הנבא לרחמים אז תירג בסתר כנפך לעולמים. ותצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen.
May we remember all of the worthy and the righteous deeds which she performed in the land of the living. May she rest in peace. And we all say Amen. Let's be seated, everyone. We want to offer our condolences to the family. We are now going to arrange the processional to move to Zion Memorial Park, where we will complete the service with the burial service. Immediately following the burial, family will receive friends at Sherwin-Gilmore on Mayfield Road. That's today following the burial portion of the service. Shiva will be at the Golubitsky residence in Beechwood, 24695 Shaker Boulevard, 24695 Shaker Boulevard. So today will be at Sherwin-Gilmore, but tomorrow and Thursday, 2 to 5, 7 to 9 p.m., Friday, 2 to 5 p.m., Sunday, 2 to 5 and 7 to 9 p.m. At the Golubitsky residence in Beechwood. Please remain in your seats for another moment. The pallbearers, however, should now come forward.